हे गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू आवर चैनल। आज की वीडियो में हम कनाडा इमिग्रेशन का सबसे बड़ा पेन पॉइंट विच इज आइल्स उसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे।
हमने लास्ट वीक एक पोल करा था अपने यूट्यूब चैनल पे, जहां पे हमने पूछा था कि विच सेक्शन इज द बिगेस्ट पेन पॉइंट व्हेन इट कम्स टू आइल्स। 7,500 वोट आए और 5,000 लोगों ने बोला राइटिंग।
तो आज की वीडियो में हम ज्यादा हवा में बातें नहीं करेंगे, इनफैक्ट हम बातें ही नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज ऑन आवर चैनल वी हैव इनवाइटेड सर्टिफाइड आइल्स ट्रेनर्स Jessica and Shannon Marshall, also known as IELTS Marshals. They have been teaching IELTS to Canadian aspirants for over 7 years and they're really, really good.
हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि राइटिंग को इंप्रूव करने का एक ही तरीका है, विच इज फीडबैक। सो वी आर रियली प्राउड टू हैव अ पार्टनरशिप विद IELTS Marshals, जहां पे यू कैन नाउ गेट वीडियो फीडबैक ऑन योर एसेज वाया आवर वेबसाइट।
अब इसके बारे में हम थोड़ी देर में बात करेंगे, बट चैनल एंड जेसिका हैव बीन वेरी काइंड टू शेयर एन फ्री ई बुक विद अस, जो आप हमारी वेबसाइट से डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। इट हैज CLB 9 essays, common mistakes that people do and get stuck at 6.5. Some really good online resources that you can use to improve your writing today, as well as sample questions for the writing section that you can attempt on your own.
So guys, do download this ebook. I'm sure this will be very, very helpful. Now let's talk to our guest of honor, Shannon and Jessica.
All right, Shannon and Jessica, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Thank you so much for this partnership. I'm sure so many people will love to hear from you because you're native speakers. I think you are best placed to guide people. So tell us something about you. What you do. How long have you been doing this? So I'd love to hear that.
Of course. Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having us here. We're so excited to partner with you guys too. I'm Shannon and I'm Jessica. We're both from New Jersey in the United States. And obviously, we are sisters. I'm sure people have noticed already. We're both IELTS teachers. And growing up, we've always had a lot of the similar interests and a lot of the same skills. So I figured maybe one day we would work in the same field. But now we get to work together, which is really nice. So we've been IELTS teachers for about 8 years, and we have our own IELTS website. It's called IELTS Marshals, and we offer courses and resources to students from around the world.
Now you have worked with so many people around the world. Which one, according to you, is the most difficult section to get a CLB 9?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Working with so many students from around the world, we would say the writing section is the most difficult one. And we see it all the time. People get 7.5s, 8s, 8.5s on every other section. But when it comes to writing, they get a 6. And, some people are stuck at this level and they take the exam 3, 4, or 5 times and they just can't seem to get a 7. And, people are frustrated a little bit. And, one student told us, he said, yeah, I feel like the IELTS test is a scam. I feel like they don't want people to pass. And, maybe they want us to take it over and over. So, obviously that is not true. Mm-hmm. But you can see people's frustration. Wow, like this is what people are feeling. So, we just want to be there to tell people that it is absolutely possible to get a high writing score, right guidance, and with the right advice. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. And also, we know that the writing section is so hard. So we thought maybe we would conclude this question by just giving a few easy writing tips that can immediately help people today. For the writing task 2 essay, make sure you write 4 paragraphs, an introduction, 2 main paragraphs, and a conclusion. And make sure you skip a line between each paragraph on the page. That will show that the paragraphs are clearly separated. And then also just to make sure that people don't use first of all, second of all, third of all. We call that mechanical linking. And if people use those transitions, they just can't get a 7 or higher on the essay. It's really impossible. Those transitions are too robotic and memorized. But the writing section is hard, but with the right advice, people can really do a good job. And we're happy to help.
What do you think are the biggest, 2 or 3 biggest mistakes that people do, not just from what they write in the essays, but just from a preparation standpoint when it comes to writing?
Yes. Well, I would say the most common mistakes we see people make are 1, they use too many big words, and 2, they write really long sentences. These big words and long sentences make their essays so hard to read. A lot of people do this. And just recently, we had a student who did the same thing. He wrote in his essay, there are exponentially increasing reasons why people consider applying to university. Why not just say there are many reasons why people go to university? That would be so much easier to read. It actually makes more sense, and it would definitely get a higher score. Absolutely. And, I think we know why they try to do it. They try to write these long sentences and include these fancy words. It's because that is what they think is required to get a high score. And, this just isn't true. So, we don't want people to do this. We don't want people to plug fancy words into their essay just to get a high score. So we don't want people to use words like plethora or aspects or elements, numerous. These words might sound fancy, but they don't really add a lot to the essay. So we just would suggest people keep it simple and to shorten those wordy sentences. And that's how we think they can get the highest score in the writing section.
I think actually it's, you say like when you study about the IELTS writing, they say to write complex sentences, but we end up writing long sentences instead of complex. So that's the difference that people need to understand and see that, the complex sentences require not long.
Right. We say it all the time, and people say, what about complex sentences? Complex sentences don't have to be complicated. They don't have to be these long run-on sentences, right? Yeah. So we hear that too a lot. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
So what's the biggest difference between a 6.5 essay versus a 7.5 essay?
So we think a really important difference between a 6.5 and a 7.5 is accuracy. Now, people who get a 7, 8, or 9, they don't really make that many mistakes. And basically, their essays are pretty error-free. They put words in the right order. They know where to put commas. They can spell words correctly. They pick the right tense. And they pick the right prepositions. Basically, they're close to writing like a native speaker would. One of our students, thankfully during practice, wrote this sentence. He said, young people are aggressive because they play fierce video games. Now, he had never used the word fierce before, so he took a stab at it there. But unfortunately, it wasn't the correct usage of that word. We don't really use fierce when we talk about video games. Right. We use fierce when we talk about, lions and tigers. So if he had done this on the IELTS exam, this wouldn't have been correct and his score could have been lowered. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, accuracy and word choice, like that example, is important. And also accuracy and grammar. Everyone makes their own mistakes. It's very specific to each person. Everyone learned English a different way. So they all make their unique set of mistakes in their essays. But there are some mistakes in grammar that we see all the time. So we thought maybe we could just quickly address just a few of them to clean up some people's writing right now, today. The first thing, if you start a sentence with, in addition, in my opinion, nowadays, put a comma after it. The next thing is, make sure you know the difference between other and another. We see this all the time. Other comes before plural nouns and another comes before singular ones. So it'd be other people or another person. And then lastly, the article the comes before certain words, almost always. The government, the environment, the internet, and you'll always use that before those words. Right. So, obviously grammar is extremely difficult to get a good grasp on, but these should help a little bit just to help do something today. But of course, we're excited to help people really get into the details and really correct those grammar mistakes so they can be accurate.
So when we read newspapers, some articles, where they're discussing something like opinions, so they tend to use those heavy words where, you feel that, oh, this word can be used here. They're just describing a situation which a native English speaker might not ever use in their day, like.
Totally.
So that's something I can understand, where sometimes, we just pick up words and see, oh, we read that somewhere and probably we can use it here.
We see it all the time too. Yeah. And it's hard because you think it can be transferred easily to another situation, or it sounds like a really good word, like, oh, let me use it. But sometimes it's just not the right, doesn't sound natural.
With writing, at least from in our case, and with whoever we talk to, we realize that if you write and check it yourself, it actually doesn't make sense, right? Because you don't know the mistakes that you would be doing purely because that's the best that you could write. So how do you get over writing? And writing, I personally feel, is very different because you can't just get over it by just practice. So what do we do more in order to improve our writing?
Yes. We would say that the one thing that can really push people's writing to the next level is getting feedback from a native speaker. Absolutely. To get a 7.5, 7s, 8s, you really need to be very accurate. And it's so hard to achieve this level of accuracy without help from a native speaker who can tell you what you're doing wrong. And we see it all the time with our students. They make the same mistakes over and over again in every essay they write, and they don't even know that they're making these mistakes. So yeah, we would say that the thing that gets you the fastest results is getting essays corrected by someone who's a native speaker. Would you say the same? Yeah, I completely agree. I think personalized feedback is really important. Just like our student from Kuwait, he took 2 IELTS courses. He took the IELTS exam 3 times, and he kept getting a 6.5 every time. And we were just talking about this, that it's really hard to make that jump into the 7s and into much higher scores. But we did correct his essays. We gave him personalized feedback. He found out what he was doing wrong. And so the next time he took the test, he got a 7. And that was in a quick turnaround time, we would say. So it's extremely effective to get personalized feedback, to get feedback from a native speaker. And, people who are preparing for the IELTS test, we would suggest, that they do the same, and they'll see their writing improve dramatically.
A lot of people know that I got a 7.5 and they want me to check their writing. And I'm like, guys, getting a 7.5 doesn't mean that I'm the best teacher there is who can, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I make a lot of mistakes. My spellings suck. And I'm just not the right person, even if I got a 7.5. And I'm pretty sure that if I write, an IELTS again, I may not be able to get a 7.5. I may get it, but, I'm not confident of it. So that's not the kind of teacher, to your point, we should be going to. And native speakers, because they have been speaking, all their life, and they have, they've evolved with the language. I think you guys are best placed to give feedback.
I hope this interview was helpful, and do download the free ebook that Shannon and Jessica have provided. I'm sure it'll help you.
And guys, Simran has worked really hard to get us into a partnership with the Marshalls, and the process is very simple. All you need to do is go to the website, pay, and you will get a list of essays in your email along with a link to upload your essay.
बस upload करो, and within 4 days Marshalls will share a video feedback on your essay explaining कि क्या गलतियां करी आपने, कहाँ पे you were right and how to improve.
इस पूरे प्रोसेस में सबसे बढ़िया बात is the video feedback that you get, and let's see a 10-second clip on this.
So we're not going to put a comma after although. So we'll say, although there are some advantages, when we talk about advantages, we'll always say too, there are advantages to this thing. So there are advantages to raising children in the countryside. I still believe that a city is a better option. Good. Oh, and this is not a full sentence. It's never really at the beginning of a sentence unless you're saying, because this happens, but this is the ending. We'll say, although there are some advantages to raising children in the countryside, I still believe that a city is a better option because parents can choose a great kindergarten or school. Excellent. I like the specific. So I would say, based on this, it would be a 6.5. You're close to the 7 because the grammar's really good, but you kind of lost the meaning a little bit.
Around 20 minutes का feedback होगा and I'm so proud of Simran who has made all this happen. इसमें एक ही प्रॉब्लम है that we have a limit of 50 essays per week because Shannon and Jessica सिर्फ 2 लोग हैं and they don't want to compromise on the quality.
This is a super genuine effort to help you guys with your IELTS. I hope you guys like it. आज की वीडियो के लिए बस इतना ही. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.
बाय बाय.
We even said to each other today, we're like, yes, this is happening. We're like, yeah, we're like, yeah, today's the day.
To be honest, I am a little nervous about how many people will.
Even if there's like 1 or 2 people, I mean,
That's
it's just
totally
cool
fine.
that they have this opportunity, and I think it'll gain traction over
With
time. But
yeah.
I think it's nice to have this option that you guys, saw, like a
open
pain
it.
point,
Yeah.
like where people were like, yo, writing is hard, and you said, yes, we need to change that. I like that. Yeah.